In 1986, Parting Glances hit theaters. As one of the first films to address HIV and the complexities of gay relationships, it's a classic of queer cinema. But the original print of the film was in dire need of restoration. Now, more than 20 years later, the Outfest Legacy Project has preserved this important work. In October 2007, a newly restored Parting Glances had its New York premiere at Lincoln Center, bringing life to a pivotal period in gay history.
Parting Glances centers around Michael and Robert, a New York couple who are about to temporarily separate when Robert is transferred overseas. Michael's ex-lover and best friend is Nick, who is HIV positive.
Oh, not that. Believe it or not, I like this stupid thing.
I let them plan it.
The plot takes place within a 24-hour period and begins as Robert prepares to leave Michael and New York for a 2-year work assignment in Africa.
I want to leave. Look, I'm not going to last 2 years over there. I'll probably be back in 6 months. We just need a break, you know?
The centerpiece of the film, and its most memorable scene, is a going-away party for Robert, hosted by their close friend, Joan.
Come on in. Let me just put on a light.
It was extremely important because men needed to know that there were other men out there leading lives like theirs, with friends and love and lovers and illness.
As an actor, this was a great love story. And this was a great story of, drama is based on conflict, and this film is about conflict from the very beginning, about old loves, about leading your life, about not being afraid, about challenging yourself and challenging convention and challenging ignorance.
My character is HIV, and at that point, I don't think there was any other films that were dealing with this. If you're trying to market a film, it's probably not the thing that people would flock to see.
There was a screening in New York, and we invited the audience to talk back afterwards. And I'll never forget, there was a woman who stood up and said, this film really disturbed me. And I'm like, okay, take a deep breath, talk to me. And she said, I have a brother who's homosexual. And I said, oh, my sister and you have something in common. And she said, what really upset me about the film is you made it look so normal. And I just said, thank you. And I said, you need to go home now and think about what you just said. Because, yeah, that's what it's about.
Writer-director Bill Sherwood's desire to make Parting Glances grew out of his frustration with the usual content and style of gay-themed films.
He had a way of capturing snippets of his life and writing them down and making you see so clearly what he had lived.
That time in 1985-86, no one was talking about AIDS. And Bill Sherwood was really the first one with this cast in Parting Glances to discuss this. And it was labeled a very independent film at the time. It was one of the first, queer indies.
It's not your fault. It's nobody's fault.
No, it's not that. It's that sometimes when I'm over there, all I can think of is I'm so glad I don't have it.
Who wouldn't be? Don't worry. A few years down the road, we have lung cancer, heart attacks to look forward to.
Yeah, it's different when you're 50 or 60. Impending death doesn't freak you out as much.
I bet it does. I bet it's a fucking drag, even if you're 80.
I think if Bill had lived, that he would have turned out movie after movie, and that just like in his real life, there would have been this incredible mishmash of characters that were gay and gay straight, and women who acted like men and men who danced like little girls. He had a very vivid imagination.
My pants don't hang down in the back.
Straight guys' pants always hang down in the back.
Michael, do my pants hang down in the back? Yep.
I ended up playing Joan in Parting Glances because I worked with Bill Sherwood as a secretary at one of the local television stations.
Bill actually saw me on stage, which was good for me because when I auditioned for the film, my audition was so terrible that he told me that he wouldn't have hired me unless he had seen me on stage.
Steve was not at all Bill's original conception of Nick. Nick was supposed to be 6'5" and strong and with bushy black hair. And instead we found Steve Buscemi, who was totally wonderful in the part.
Right. But you didn't think this kid from Bensonhurst had so much stashed away, did you? Ha, ha, ha.
He was concerned that I wouldn't take it because I was working on the fire department and I wouldn't want anybody to know I was playing this part. And I think that when I first read the script, there was an element within me that just thought, can I really play this part? But I think any actor who would have turned down playing that part because the character is gay would be insane.
Richard was fresh out of acting school, and Bill cast him in this role. It was a difficult role because it was Bill. And he was very much a control freak.
We would shoot a scene and he'd say, now on this line, you should say it more this way, but then on this line, you could be a little bit, and he'd go through every line. And then we'd do the scene, and the scene would end, and he'd say, gee, Steve, can't you have any spontaneity?
He's mad? Good. Hey, you think I should go beat up Robert?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. You don't believe me, do you?
I'm gonna call a guard and I'm gonna book it right now.
You better call an ambulance, too.
Parting Glances opened doors for several of its cast members. For Kathy Kinney and Steve Buscemi, it became their ticket to Hollywood.
Listen, we had more fun in one weekend than the entire state of New Jersey's had since the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
That's not saying much.
Actor-director Steve Buscemi has gone on to star in such films as Reservoir Dogs, Fargo, and most recently, 28 Days. While Kathy Kinney has reached cult status as Mimi on the television hit The Drew Carey Show.
Go for it. Have a little adventure yourself.
When I came out here to Los Angeles, everyone was like, oh, we saw you in Parting Glances. What a wonderful movie. You were so wonderful. You know, let me see if I can help you.
The day the film was released, I got a call from an agent at ICM. So that's what really got me started in getting film work.
I do know I got a part on a series in Los Angeles because of Parting Glances. The director had seen Parting Glances and said that I was good and wanted me in it.
You're leaving because you don't want to be around when Nick dies. You don't want to deal with me going through that.
I think Parting Glances holds up very well. I think it's kind of the grandfather of a lot of contemporary gay films.
We're a community that has so few actual monuments to our history, so little, public, visible, mainstream acknowledgement of who we are and the impact that we've had on this planet. And the Legacy Project, the collection at UCLA, preserving films like Parting Glances, so many films and moving images that made so many of us who we are. That work is building a moving, dynamic monument to this community and the history that has been told by the brave visionary artists who have been chronicling our lives for the past 30 years on film.
Parting Glances is still important because it gives you permission to just live your life.